This is Triple Play Fantasy Basketball Coach's Corner with another edition of NBA Prospect Talk. Jaden Springer versus Cam Thomas. We're talking about two of the most electrifying freshmen in the country and two players that have completely different games. One excelling on the defensive end in Jaden Springer and one excelling on the offensive end in Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas was fourth in the NCAA in scoring and had a game where he played 4 minutes. So I could only imagine I would probably put him in the top two scoring. And then Jaden Springer, who came off of the bench. So he had the two guys that had two different routes here and played on a good Tennessee Volunteer team. Two guys that have put their name in the hat in the NBA draft. And we're going to talk some Jaden Springer first. Coach Kevin, I'm joined with you and myself, JLewis, here from Maryland. What's your take on our boy Jaden Springer?
Yeah, I like, Jaden's an interesting prospect. He's a guy that I think he was surrounded by a lot of talent on that Tennessee team, so they didn't ask him to do a lot offensively. He's 6'4", 204. He had about 12, 3, and 2. So, he had an okay season. I think that what he can do on a roster will really fluctuate. So we're going to be looking at a little bit of his tape. So when you're looking at him a little bit, so when he's on Tennessee again, he wasn't asked to do too much, but he can shoot. So he'd shoot a ton of threes, but he did shoot for 43% last year. So again, he was shooting 1 to 3 threes a game, but when he did shoot, he did tend to find the basket. So that's a good comp. He also can score. So when he does a pretty good job of just a straight scorer. He's going to be a straight line basketball player. He's going to go down the line. He's going to go look to the basket. He does struggle with he's a guy that's going to be really struggling with just getting open moves, creating for himself. He can do that. So you see there's a big difference between a guy that can create and a straight line guy. I've coached a lot of straight line guys. They're fine. You see that. They can score, but the athleticism isn't necessarily always there. And so he has energy, but he's got to be able to create his own shot. I think he's a pretty good mid-range player. He can definitely shoot from the outside when he's open, when he wants to do it. But he can be a little passive. So I think last year on Tennessee, he didn't do a lot because he didn't really need to. He's going to have to change that. Now, I added this clip just to show you. He's strong. He's going to get to the basket. He's going to also be able to score, and he's going to be able to shoot free throws. When you're looking at his free throw percentage, it is pretty good. It's 81%. So this is a kid that's going to do that. He finds mismatches well. He attacks the basket, and he does it. Now, the only thing that I really worry about with him, besides maybe his kind of passiveness, is will he actually be able to translate that strength to the NBA strength? Because that's a different strength. He can do it at Tennessee. Again, he's a straight line guy. You're never going to see him do anything more than just be a straight line basketball player. I think he's a great defender. So when you're looking at what he does defensively, I think it's really good. And I think that he's a above average block. He can block. He can rebound. He's going to be that strength guy. I just think his ceiling is very low. I think his floor is okay. The guy that I compared him to was Marcus Smart. He's aggressive.
I like that comparison.
He's got strength and balance. He plays physical. Marcus will score 40 points a game and then 5. And so I feel like sometimes I think that's going to be kind of Jaden's kind of a limit. Hey, he's going to be that volume guy. Maybe he'll score a lot or he'll make an impact somewhere else. So when you're looking at the draft, he's not someone that if your team selects, you're like, oh, yeah, you can get excited about it. You can, but he's not going to be someone that is like that relatively NBA superstar. I think he'll find a role in the NBA, especially if he can continue to shoot really well. But he's a Marcus Smart combo guard. That's really kind of what he's at.
Yeah, and like you said, he can drop 30, and because he has a 30-point game, he's got a couple 4-point games, but he's got a 23 and 20 and 20, so he can get rolling. I think you definitely pointed out what makes him the most intriguing, and that is his elite defensive ability. Mm-hmm. He's super aggressive. He's got wonderful size. He's 6'4", 204, and he is big. He's sturdy. And his hands are some of the most active hands that I've seen from a prospect, whether that's in his closeout, whether that's when he stops your penetration. He's not really quick or fast, so to speak, but he plays angles well, and he can stay in front of his defender and stop their movements. I call him the Bulldog. I think I heard an announcer call him that, and I think it fits perfectly because he's coming at you offensively. Like you said, it's a straight line guy, which – There's some questions there because at a high school level, that works. And I think he's still doing high school moves. He goes into that jump stop, and he usually be able to bully people and create some separation. He does finish well around the rim.
Yeah.
So his layup games in traffic is impressive. You mentioned his passiveness. I noticed that as well. Like, he'll spot up and he'll have enough room. And in the NBA, you have to shoot that every single time. And so he's passing up for maybe a better play here and there. But when you're thinking about how is this player going to translate in the NBA, you need to be able to knock that down. Now, he did shoot 43.5% from three, but he didn't shoot more than 9 shots a game total. So he's got to be more aggressive on his spot up shooting. He does get to the line, and it was 80% from the free throw line. That's impressive. You said Marcus Smart. I could see that. His playmaking does need to take another step up, but he does have some capabilities. He can play off of the ball. He reminds me a little bit of Jalen Brunson for Dallas, and I think that would be like an ideal type of fit, is like a Maverick situation where you can play alongside a Luka that does, everything that you can't do, but you got to be able to hit that three on the NBA level. He wasn't a focal point for the Vols coming off the bench, but he constantly finished the game. But I was impressed in his high school days when he played for IMG. He played with Noah Farrakhan, Josh Green, Armando Baycott for UNC, Jeremiah Robinson Earl. They just had a wonderful starting five, and he really emerged in that junior year. And he led them to Geico National Championship, and he, in large part, due to him. And he played alongside Noah Farrakhan, who's a guy that has the ball in his hands a lot. So I could see him, maybe playing with somebody that really is a good playmaking guard off the ball. But the kid has shackles. He's strong as a bull. He guards you full court. I mentioned his hands earlier. I just still can't. I can't really compare how aggressive of the style of play is. Little Pat Bevish, but he's solid. He's big.
And he's young. So when you looked at it, he just turned 18 in September.
Yes.
So he's got potential. So that's one thing I'll be a caveat to all this. Yes, he's passive. Yes, he needs to work on this stuff, but he's also just turned 18. So he's going to be in the NBA when he's 18 years old, essentially. That's essentially when he's going to be in the NBA. So he has a lot of potential. Yeah,
he has potential, but he has areas where he needs growth. He needs to go to Kyrie school of of moves. He doesn't have many. And his handle's not tight enough. Like, he'll go behind the back and so it's a little too wide. Like, I can see that getting plucked. Like, he doesn't really have those moves, like you say, straight up and down. So he definitely has to diversify his package and his moves in his arsenal. And being that type of size, you would want him to be a little quicker and faster off the bump. But Kyle Lowry somehow does it, and he's not he's got an incredible first step. But he's a player that developed as years went on, and I could see maybe Toronto taking a chance at Jaden Springer and try to develop their new Kyle Lowry of the future. I don't see him being a 7-time All-Star, being that type of caliber of player, but because of his defensive ability to shut people down, I think he has a spot in the NBA for a long time, and I think that he will play. Good backup point guard prospect. I don't necessarily see him as a starter. I don't know what's your take on his pro potential, and where do you see him as in the league?
I just kind of see him as Marcus Smart. So he'll come off the bench. He's going to be a really good on-ball defender. He'll provide you that role. If someone gets hurt, he can step in and kind of be that off-guard ball handler kind of guy that steps in. But I don't see anything higher than that. I did have him mocked to the Warriors recently. Now they've been awful, so that pick's going to get a little bit better, so he probably won't go there. But I thought he would fit pretty well within that kind of system, what they have there with Steph, Clay coming back, and then maybe having like Draymond there, teaching him, Wiseman there, whatever.
I think that's a great fit. Maybe a Nico Mannion coming off the bench, but you definitely want defenders so that Steph can save his energy for the offensive end, and we know that he's not the greatest defender. So I like that fit. I like that potential setup. But like you said, the Warriors have been skirting and trending in that the opposite direction of what you want. So we like some Jaden Springer. We don't see him as a high prospect. Now we're going to go from one guy that excels on the defense to the walking human bucket. He's just the best shot maker in the NCAA. And as a freshman, to put his team on his shoulders, win his conference tournament, that's nothing to sniff at. His game is spicy. He's handing out 30-piece, 40-piece baskets, all flats on the daily. Like, I mean, I can only imagine in practice who's getting that work every single day, because he doesn't have a shot he doesn't like. 6'4", 200, nice floater. He uses the head fake, which everyone bites on. Just a smooth game. He only shot 40% from the field, but he doesn't see a shot he doesn't like. Even with the closeout contest there, he rises high on those shots, which I like, because he can always get his shot off. No matter when the double teams come, the triple teams come, he always has a counter, and he's a spin move galore type of kid. Like that, like you sleep an inch. You give him an inch, I'm taking that, and I want it. This is a 2-point game right here. He's just waiting for his opportunity to touch the ball, because it is going in the air. The man averaged 1.4 assists, and he's the leading scorer in the country. He doesn't pass the ball. He doesn't like to pass the ball. He doesn't want to pass the ball. I don't see him being a guy you can build a franchise on, but he's definitely that 6-man role. Like those guys have places in the league, or he could start on a bad team, perhaps. But if you want to win with him, you want him as your 6th, 7th man. His in-between dribble, and he's got like long legs. Look at that separation. If you can do that in the league, he reminds me a little of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's just been playing very impressive for the Pelicans. I really love this kid. I think he's gonna have a long career, and people are gonna talk about, man, why did Cam Thomas drop so low? He's been moving up and up the charts. Right now, the NBA draft has him mocked at 16. Jaden Springer was at 19. So we're looking at guys in that 15-20 range, and I don't see either one of them dropping lower than that. Somebody's gonna fall in love with him. I know Steven Jackson, Carmelo Anthony will be proud. They're going to look out for this one. He's an Oak Hill kid, and he is another prospect that's going to do damage in the league. He breathes and sweats hoops, and that's something that I look at in prospects. Like, do you really, really love the game? And I don't think he does anything else other than that, other than play basketball. Like this is what he does. The last time we saw him, they played against Michigan. He played the whole game. He dropped 30. He dropped 27 in the first round game. So he was their guy. He was their leader. He rises up on his jumper. It's hard to block, and he's volume. He's all volume all the time. But the fact that he's allergic to passing the ball and that he shoots a low percentage, I don't know if he's quite a winning basketball player.
No, this dude has not seen a shot he doesn't like. I will say that. While going over him and watching him, I think a couple things, you're hit on your head a couple things. So he had 1 assist, averaged 1.4 assists, and he averaged 1.7 turnovers. So that's definitely part of his game that I don't know if he's going to want to work on. And then he just went through some stretches where his shot selection, this guy just throws up things. I mean, when you're looking at kind of what he did, this is a stretch that he had when he's playing the SEC. 6 for 17, 6 for 20, 8 for 21, 6 for 20, 8 for 19, 9 for 16. He just shoots. So he's a volume guy, yes, but his percentages, I mean, he shot 29% in the game. He shot just terrible percentages. Now, he was up there. He shoots free throws well. He's a great free throw shooter. He's 88%.
And he gets there. He gets there a lot.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's shooting 25 shots a game, coach. He's going to get there. But he does have that. I think he's a pure scorer. So he's the guy, like, I think with him, he's gonna find him way going up there. He's a 3-level scorer. He gets his own shot. He creates his own shot. A lot of different. He's not a straight line guy like we talked about with Springer. This dude is going to find his own shot. He averages a lot of points. I would say that he's actually kind of a bit undersized in terms of kind of his height of what he's going to be in the NBA. Because at 6'4", where do is he quick enough to stay with guards at the NBA level? I don't know if he's big enough to guard threes at the NBA.
He's not invested on that end. He's not out there to go play defense.
I get that, but at a certain point, you got to play something. Like, you got to be out there. He's going to be a first rounder. I get that. I saw somebody compare his game to like Lou Williams. I obviously lose a different in terms of, I would say, his offensive game and what he tries to accomplish on the court. I could see that. I like him. I saw him get mocked to Charlotte. That's actually not a terrible spot for him. I get a little worried about how they would fit in that system and with LaMelo there. I know that they've been kind of on the up. Maybe they would need that volume scorer. That would be an interesting kind of spot. Hayward's there, though, and I know Hayward's been playing well. He's hurt now, but I don't know. I think he's going to be an interesting prospect because he could be that guy that we always talk about, like, oh yeah, he's great on a bad team. He shoots 25 shots a game and averages. He'll be a great fantasy player. He'll be a great kind of he's a great player, bad team kind of guy. I don't know necessarily if he's going to be a fit. Whereas Springer is a fit. Like, he'll fit and he'll be a good basketball player, but he's not going to be putting up numbers like we see with Cam Thomas.
So who do you take when we're talking about these two gentlemen, Jaden Springer or Cam Thomas? Kev?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a coach answer, and people aren't going to like this, but I'm taking Springer because I like his game more. I think he's a better basketball player,
Coach is going with the defensive guy?
Yeah, I'm going with the defensive guy. I know the NBA doesn't have it, but I'm going with the guy that I think that he has a role and he'll last longer. Now, Cameron Thomas is going to be able to score, and I get that. And he'll find buckets and he'll do those things. But I think Springer will have I don't want to say better career because I don't know, but I would say that he'll have a much rounded, better career, and he has more spots where he could fit. I honestly can see Springer playing on any team in the NBA. He could fit anywhere. I don't know if I see Cam Thomas playing on every team in the NBA.
No. I just envision him if he played for Orlando like today, I could see him averaging over 20 in the NBA right now. Put him in there. I got you, coach. And then I could see Jaden Springer kind of feeling his way in and having a lot more time to kind of develop his game. But I don't know if Cam Thomas is ever going to evolve as a playmaker or somebody that can pass. Now, we did compare Lou Williams, and he has gotten better at playmaking throughout his career. But we see in the playoffs, he's unplayable. You can't win with a guy like that, especially when he's in that. He's not going to be part of your finishing five. I say if you are a lower team in the lottery and you're not in the winning category, maybe even getting him so that you can plan on shipping him to get more value in time. But you don't want to put all your eggs in the Cam Thomas basket. And I know there's a bunch of high school kids across the country watching this. Like, dude, he averages 23 a game. Like, what don't y'all like? Yeah, we just don't like that you don't play defense, sir. So give us Jaden Springer. I'll take Jaden Springer as well, unless I'm Orlando, because they need something over there.
Well, Cam's going to find a spot. I mean, I saw, Houston's second pick in the first round. That would be an interesting spot because they have no one. So they get Cam Thomas, and then Cam Thomas is going to fill the box score. He's going to just fill it out. So I understand that, but as a coach, as someone who looks at the game a different way, I like Jaden because I think Jaden has a different kind of skill set that I love Marcus Smart. And so when I compare the two, I think that they will fit. Now, like I said, Cam's going to find he's going to score. So I know that. I know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and let me be clear. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on Cam Thomas. I love to watch him play. Like those type of guys, like I'm peeled because of the offensive arsenal. He reminds me a little bit of Swaggy P, and he can do it all. He can put you on a spin move and make some of the most difficult shots in the game. So he's going to have a long career. He's going to play. He's going to play for a lot of teams. He's not going to go to San Antonio and be like Tim Duncan and play there his whole career. He's going to float his way around. Yeah. All right, we need scoring off the bench. And I think Springer, whoever gets him, he might have a home for the future. So that's our take on Jaden Springer versus Cam Thomas. Any final words, Coach Kev?
Nope. Hey, I'm just excited about this, and be on the lookout for our next prospect versus.
And tell them where they can find your mock draft.
Yeah, you can find my mock draft at NBA Triple Play NBA Mock Draft 1.0. Just the lottery version right now. So Triple Play Fantasy, you can .com. Just check it out. Let me know why I'm wrong. I'm starting my second edition here pretty soon once the tournament's over, and we'll start getting like everybody that's coming into the draft.
I heard there's a rumor that Jalen Suggs is moving up the draft board.
Yeah, he might be moving up just a little bit. There is a little bit of movement on that end.
All right, and that's all we have for you today. We'll see you next time on Coach's Corner, a little bit NBA prospect talk.